seeing how Krishna consciousness is blossoming all over Canada, and it's very hopeful for the world. Thank you for all you're doing. Hare Krishna. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja start with a Mangal chant. Om Jnana-Jnanasya Jnana-Jnanasya Chakshurunam Tasmai Shri-Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya ends the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam with the verse Jayati Janani Vaso Devaki Janava Yaduvara Parishat Swara Dokir Asanam Skirichara Vijayana Susmita Shree Rajapura Bhavitam Varyam Tamare. In this verse is about Krishna, whose presence brings victory. And he was always victorious himself. And he walks among the people. Janani Vasa means he's there amidst everyone here in the world. Yadava Parishat. And he's called a member of the Yadu dynasty, but actually, just as Kunti says, although sandalwood grows in the Malayan hills, they call it Malayan sandalwood, which is just sandalwood. Krishna's not just anything, but he does cohort with the other dynasty. And what's more, he defeats those who are against the Dharma, and he uplifts the devotees. And he's auspicious for all living beings, moving and non-moving. He enlivens the residents of Radha, especially the gopis, with his smile. This verse is listed in the Archana Padati as a verse to wake up to. More than that, we find that Jiva Goswami has said about this verse, that Shree wrote it for those who came after the pastimes of Krishna. After all, he ended his manifest pastimes in this world over 5,000 years ago. What are we to do? Shree Goswami, feeling that people would lament, and they would feel, why wasn't I here when Krishna was here? Wrote this verse to assuage that feeling of melancholy in the hearts of all the people of the world for all times. And how is it that this verse indicates that? He says, Jayati is written in the present tense to remind us that although Krishna performed his pastimes 5,000 years ago, he's just as present now as ever. When we celebrate Janmastami, his personal presence, effect, as mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Archa form of the Lord, contains all of the various avatars of the Lord, all the different forms of the Lord. So when even a neophyte comes to a temple and bows down before the deity of Krishna, he or she gets all the benefit of all the various manifestations of the Lord present in the Archa form. But just because we know Krishna Svagam Uta Patate Naraganani Sada Kalanashna Krishnaisha Purana Purana, that just after Krishna left for his abode, after his pastimes, he made a dramatic exit from the world in Prabhu, the great drama he performed. But just after his departure to his own abode, Srimad Bhagavatam says, he immediately arose at the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then one can derive all the benefits of Krishna's personal association by hearing from Srimad Bhagavatam in association with the devotees. So Janmastami is a challenge to all the atheists of the world. As Prabhu writes in his preface to the Srimad Bhagavatam itself, when you read this book, he said, you will be able to defeat the atheists. What's more, we'll be able to instill faith in the hearts of the people of this world who are dying of what Srila Prabhupada writes in the first chapter of the 10th canto, spiritual thirst. In fact, you can tell people that we're on a campaign to help people who are suffering from starvation and abject thirst spiritually. It's the worst kind of suffering. And so, when Krishna's making his advent in this world, there's a burden on the earth, and Bhumi comes to Brahma, the GBC, and says, we need to petition the Lord to please make his advent. So they go to the shore of the Milk Ocean, and with the demigods in tow, Brahma leads the chant of the Purusha Sutta. And then Krishna gives a message to Brahma from within his heart, Tani Brahma Radha, that I will appear, and you all appear with me in this world to help me enact my pastimes. Krishna, of course, famously in the Bhagavad Gita, anywhere in the world, if you chant these verses, Yida Yida Hidarmasya, Nani Bhavati Bharata, Makaram Dharmasya, Tadakman Suyamyam, Ritranaya Sadhana, Vinashaya Chavishrita, Dharmasya Samavani Yegede. Everyone will join in. As they know these verses that Krishna comes to lift up the devotees and to equalize those who are disturbing devotional service of the masses. And that his pastimes in this world are completely transcendental. He comes from time to time to show himself. So he told Brahma that he would appear, everyone else should appear with him. And we know the story that there was, on the wedding day of Devaki and Vasudeva, a prophecy given by the demigods, unfolding in this drama that would be Krishna's advent in the world. Kunti says, Maya Jali Kashana, Natna and what she say, Muna Krishna, Natna Radha. Krishna, you're just like an actor on stage, forming a drama for all of us. And we can barely recognize you when you come. And who can understand the circuitous way in which Krishna appears? So there, on the chariot, Kamsa was driving. He heard prophecy from the sky, Kamsa, you fool. The 8th issue from your sister will kill you. Immediately, he put down the reins of the chariot. He grabbed his sister by the hair and drew his sword. And Vasudeva, in various ways, convinced him not to kill his own sister on her wedding day. So, Vasudeva had made a bargain that I will give you the children that are born, so you needn't worry. After 2 of the children had been born, Kamsa had sent them back. But Narada came and said, you know, it could be any of the children. You can't be certain. So Kamsa escalated his heinous activities in Vrindavan, trying to kill all the children. 6 of the children were murdered by Kamsa. And of course, we find in the Srimad Bhagavatam, these first 6 children are known as Satgarbha Asuras. They have been sons of Kalineni in their previous life. Kalineni had been killed by Vishnu in his last life. And these sons had gone against their grandfather, who was Hiranyakashipu. And they had taken shelter of Brahma. They gained similar benedictions that Hiranyakashipu had obtained from Brahma. But Hiranyakashipu became so envious that they had taken shelter somewhere else, they cursed them. And in your next life, you will be born in the womb of Devaki, and you will be killed one after another by your own father. And how's that? Because Kalineni becomes Kamsa in his next life. And therefore Kamsa, as is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, was envious of Vishnu from the very beginning. He couldn't stop thinking about him, how he had killed him in his last life, and how he, Kamsa, wanted to kill Krishna in this life. This was the mood in Vrindavan when Krishna was about to appear. And we know that the 7th pregnancy of Devaki was known as a miscarriage, because Balarama was born in her womb, and then attracted to the womb of Rohini, therefore he's known as Sankarsana, he was attracted to the womb of Rohini. And how confusing is that to Kamsa, because he had heard the 8th issue would be the one to kill him, but now, do you count a miscarriage or not? That's the 7th. The good news, I'll just mention parenthetically, is that each of the Satgarbha Asuras had attained and did attain the lofty destination. What's more, they're symbolic. Krishna Chakravarti Thakur says, and Prabhupada comments on this extensively in the first chapter, in the second chapter, rather, the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, that they represent Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Mada, Moha, and Asa. And that these anarthas or anomalies must be abolished before Krishna will appear anywhere. So, before Krishna appeared, and after the Sattva Asuras had been born and killed, then Balaram was in the womb of Devaki to purify her womb and set the stage for Krishna to appear. Now when Krishna appeared in the womb of Devaki, the demigods, knowing that he was about to appear, came in and offered prayers to Lord Krishna within the womb. And these are some of the most famous prayers in the Srimad Bhagavatam, often quoted by our acharyas and Vaisheshika Prabhu himself. And in those prayers, the demigods headed by Lord Brahma say, Tvayam Jaksha Satvadami Samaya Vaisheshika Sati Pada Putina Mahakratina Purhantika Vatsapadam. That there's one object for meditation in this world for all living beings, and that's Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God. Said he's the source of everything, and the source of all spiritual bliss. Therefore, one should, he says, fix one's mind. Vayam Jakshaki Sattvanani Samadhi, completely absorb your mind, Krishna. Samadhi, leash, take the sight. That means one pointedly, you don't have to think of anything else or anyone else. He is the ultimate object of meditation. And he says, Papa Putena Mahakritena Purvanti Govatsakadam Bhavim, which means that the great souls who follow Krishna are so kind that they devise the means by which they can cross the ocean of material existence. And they leave that process behind for everyone else in the world. And if one takes the process of the great souls, then one can easily cross over the ocean of the material world. Would you like to know why?
Yes.
Okay, 3 people said yes. Everybody else, cover your ears. Because by the power of the process left behind by the great souls, the ocean of the material world shrinks to the size of the hoofprint of a calf, and one can easily step over it. And then Brahma says, Yeyeva Vindakshya Muktamalinas Vyasabhava Avashubhavina Aruri Krishna Paramaham Tata Patantitro Navita Vishwanavaya. And that is, unless we have this object of meditation in our lives, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of God, then whatever other arrangement we make by hard work, Krishna, everyone say Krishna. You know what that means? What does it sound like? It sounds like working hard for no good result. How was your day? Krishna. Yes. If one becomes liberated by severe austerities, or by political maneuvers, or by fattening one's 401k, if you have such a thing here, retiring early, Prabhu says you'll fall down. You can't save yourself in this world. There's no situation that you can arrange for yourself in this world where you can remain without suffering and falling down again into the abyss of the material world. But there is one process. You have to have a relationship with the lotus-eyed Lord. It means Janmastami is a declaration to the world. That there is an absolute truth. He's not impersonal. Bhagavatam gives us categorically. Sutta Goswami in the second chapter of the Bhagavatam says, Vedanti tattva pavidas tattvam yano Rameti paramati bhagavaniti shabdite. The absolute truth is one, Advaita Jnana Tattva, but has many features, three. Brahman, Paraman, and Bhagavan. And Brahman is saying, unless one comes to this realization of the lotus-eyed Lord, that means the Supreme Personality of God, Bhagavan, then one will fall down from whatever situation one's in because of the Shuddha Buddha, impure intelligence. So Janmastami gives us pure intelligence. And it's by design. We quoted already Yadaya Yadaya Krishna comes regularly to give us this vision of himself. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Anugrahaya Bhaktanam Marusham Deham Ashrita Pataketa Shikrida Yashrivata Parobhave. The 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna gives special mercy, Anugrahaya Bhaktanam, to all the bhaktas. How? Manusham Deham Ashrita. He comes in human-like form. Vajate Tadrishi Kriya means he performs wonderful activities in that human-like form, like no one else can do. Yashrivata Parobhave. So what's in it for you? What's in it for all of us? You might ask. Is that what you're asking? You're asking. Tashrivata Parobhave means because you have something to talk about now. You have something to hear now. Because if Krishna didn't come and perform his pastimes, what are you going to talk about? And that's something Shukadev says at the very beginning of the Bhagavatam. There's millions of topics. And now millions of stations you can tune into in this world. Some of them are even good. There's only one great place to hear. Yashrivata Parobhave. And that's about Krishna. So, had Krishna not appeared to show his personal form, perform his pastimes in Vrindavan, that Ramanda plays with his friends, they come and lodge a complaint with Yashoda and say, Krishna ate dirt. Yashoda calls Krishna and says, your friends, and even Balaram said you ate dirt. Krishna said, they're lying. Manusham Deham Ashrita. Like a child, like an ordinary human who comes into the world. So we can adore him, so we can attach to him, because it's not any kind of attachment, it's attachment to the Supreme Personality of God. Human-like form. We show test him by saying, okay, if you haven't, then let's do a forensic examination. Sit down here, open your mouth, and she looks in and sees all the energies of the universe and beyond, material, spiritual, Krishna. She sees herself, Krishna on the mouth. If Krishna closes your mouth, just don't do it again. Go play. These unlimited pastimes of Krishna, the devotees sing about, Yashrivata Parobhave, they hear about. They're so powerful that at the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, Sutta Goswami says, Srimadatam Swakata Krishna, Vishwara Kirtanam, Vidyanta Steli Vadranis, Vidyanta Suristam. All the things that are holding us back from true happiness are eliminated by hearing about Krishna. So we have the great fortune of our disciplic succession that gives us a clear idea of where to point our attention. And that's Tasmai Ekena Manasa Bhagavan Sattvatam Pati Shokta Vyakirtita Ischa Deya Puja Samhita. Sutta Goswami says, therefore, you should do one thing. You do one thing. And one thing only. Tasma Ekena. With your mind, one thing. Not strolling. Tasma Ekena Manasa Bhagavan Sattvatam Pati. You should just think of Krishna. Shokta Vyakirtita Yascha. How you should think of him? Hear about him. Shokta Vyakirtita Yascha. Chant Hare Krishna. Dhyeya, meditate. Pujas, do puja. And how much should you do it? Who said that? You got some tongues over here. Nitya. You know what that means? It means a lot. You should hear a lot. So, a few final thoughts. Because this is a short flight, public number. And that is the advice from Brahma later. After he tests Krishna and Radha and thinks, who is this little kid? Is this the Supreme Personality of Godhead playing around with his friends? After he's bewildered by Krishna's tour de force of powerful, mystical power that defeats his, makes him look like a tiny glowworm compared to the sun. In his prayers he says, Jnani Priyasam Pasyanamate Jivanti San. If you know this, say it with me. Jnani Priyasam Pasyanamate Jivanti San Paritam Bhaviratam Stani Sita Shukritam Paravamaro Viprayaso Jita Jito Kesutastu. I'm saying this for purpose. This is the final thought that I want to offer you from Lord Brahma. He says, don't try to figure out Krishna with puny intelligence. He's the smartest person in the universe, Brahma. And he said, I was errant in trying to figure him out. Don't try. Udapasya. Don't do it even a little bit. Jivanti Samparitamba Vyavarta means if all you do, Jivanti, is stay alive somehow or another, so you can come the next day and hear about Krishna again. Jivanti Samparitamba Vyavarta means somehow or other you can stay alive, have a little prashad, some khichdi, with a little mango pickle, and some lemon. Maybe a popular. Who cares? Some water. So you can stay alive, so the next day you can go and sit down and hear about Krishna again. If that's all you do, if someone says, is that all you do? So that's all I do. Then our Acharya said, Jivanti Sanmukha, that's okay. That's all you do. Jivanti Sanmukha Itam Bhavadiya Vartam. Says, Stani Sita Shukritam Tam Bhavadiya. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever your status is, Stani Sita. You don't have to make any sudden changes. Stay where you are, but just do this. Live to hear about Krishna. Then, what will be the effect of that? You'll conquer God with love. Which means he's unconquerable. He's a Jita, but he'll become Jita. Because of the force of your love that develops from hearing God. So Janmastami is this reminder of Yashuva Tatpavavade. Krishna came here, performed his pastimes, he killed demons, he left Vrindavan, came back to Vrindavan. He did things that one could think about eternally. They're so amazing. And so Bhagavatam says, do that. And remember, on Janmastami, Jayati Janmastami, Devaki Janmastami, victory is there for those who engage in remembering Krishna. And it's not for 5,000 years ago, it's for every day now. Because it's in the present tense. He's in our hearts, he's in the Srimad Bhagavatam, he's in the Gita, he's in the Holy Name. And he's in this movement of Krishna consciousness That was the last verse, but this is my last point. And today, we went out on the streets of Toronto. I got dropped off in 3 places. The first place was the museum. I figured which street it's on. That was a tough spot. But it was okay, because we met some nice people. Then I got dropped off in Kensington Market. And that was a good spot. And then I got dropped off in front of the courthouse, which was a really strange spot, but it turned out okay. But my experience was that people are lost and confused. They have no idea which way to turn. They're mixed up in the material world so deeply that there's no hope unless there's some intervention. And when the devotees came out and they chanted on the street corner, and dozens of devotees in each place were offering them the opportunity to take a Bhagavad Gita or a set of Srimad Bhagavatams. That verse that starts with Jayati, victory, was in my mind because the Sankirtan movement is so powerful. And we have such facility because of our disciplined succession in Srila Prabhupada, bringing it to us pre-packaged, ready to go. We can have great victory by uplifting the souls here, if I may use the phrase, in the GTA. So please everyone, go on here and chanting about Krishna. If someone says, hey, are you going to do that again today? Say yeah. That's what I do. Jivanti Sana. Just eat a little khichdi. I wake up the next day and I hear again from the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then go out and give it to as many people as possible. Every street corner. I've seen a lot of street corners here, and this is the best place to go. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Vaisheshika, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for that wonderful discourse. A special day. I said, usually at Janmastami we're all running around, and we don't get a chance to listen to Krishna Katha on Janmastami, so it's important we listen to both the pastimes of Krishna, and we're very fortunate again. Thank you, Vaisheshika Prabhu, thank you, Miracle for being here. The evening's getting started. We're just warming up right now. His Holiness Vida Govinda Maharaj will be coming on soon, and he'll be leading us in a small talk as well as Kirtan, and then we have